Hi, I'm Lance LeBlanc, Executive Search Consultant at the Vanderbloemen Search Group. One of the questions that we get so often when we're helping churches find key staff is, how do we know who's the right person to hire? That's a great question. We always say one of the most expensive hires you can ever make is the wrong person. But long before you're introduced to the candidates and long before you start interviewing folks, you've got to know what it is that your organization needs. When we sit down with these churches and our clients, we say, let's do this. Let's start with the end in mind. The most important part of this process is knowing where you're going. I always encourage our clients to paint a picture of your wildest success story a couple of years down the road. What is life like? Don't tell me how many employees you have or exactly all the programs you're doing. I want to hear things like, we're known in the community for being a place of redemption and reconciliation. We're reaching out and doing missions in countries all over the world. Those are the kinds of things I want to hear. And so we encourage them to walk through a process with some of their key decision makers and influencers of what is your wildest success story a couple of years from now, and begin to paint a picture. This is called vision. The Bible says, for lack of vision, my people perish. What that tells me is, in that context, great leaders and staff members are not going to stick around long if they don't know where you're going. And more importantly, you won't know who to bring to your team or what solutions to even create if you don't know where you're going. So we start with the end in mind. The second thing we do is we sit and we determine what are the roadblocks to our success. You can never manage what you're not measuring. You've got to know, what are the things that are preventing us from getting there? Is it a lack of staff? Is it a lack of funding? Begin to identify the key and critical issues that are preventing you from getting to your success. And here's step 3. And this is extremely important. You can't tackle all of those roadblocks at once. What I always encourage our clients to do is pick 2 or 3 of those roadblocks and begin to slowly dissect them and figure out the appropriate plan of action. Begin to present solutions. Once you know where you're going, what the roadblocks are, and which roadblocks you're going to tackle, then you can start generating ideas that work. Once you know where you're going and you've identified some of the things that are stopping you from getting there, then we can work on the important part of bringing the right team members to your team to help get you to your wildest success story. And here's what I suggest. Draw an org chart. Now I know that doesn't sound fun, but one of the most important things you can do is draw an org chart and leave off names. What I want to see is, how is your church or your organization functioning today? And I want to see an organizational chart for the perfect picture of health today. And what you'll find is that you probably have a lot of overlap. You have people working in multiple areas and you have a number of areas that are empty. But without an org chart, the org chart is actually the map that helps take you to that imagined success that we talked about earlier. This is a great exercise. Get some of your key people, get some of your administrative folks, get some of your creative folks, and get in a room and draw up an org chart, and that will show you where the holes are at in your organization. So the next time you say, who's our most important hire, you'll know where you're going, you'll know what your roadblocks to success are, you'll have solutions for those roadblocks, and you'll know the most important hires that you need to make for your organization.